Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fonrath, and today...
I will be the judge, the one who judges.
The one who judges anime, yes. If this is your first time here, and you haven't seen my previous anime judging videos, basically, I will be going through this list, as you can see, of anime, and just kind of giving my first impressions. Not really my first impressions at this point, because I'm kind of late on this, and I've kind of seen the first episode of a lot of these. Well, I say a lot, but like half of them, maybe. Regardless, we'll look at the pictures, we'll look at the descriptions. If we see an interesting one, we might check out the synopsis and the description and whatever the fuck, right? However, if you are new here, you should know that I am more into serious stories. So I am not really interested in, like the shitty comedy, harem, high school bullshit. I'm not that kind of anime enjoyer, alright? But yeah, let's get to it, shall we? Starting off here, from the beginning, we have whatever the fuck that is. Now this is a continuation of a show that started airing last season. It is a continuation. It is 20 episodes long, apparently. I remember last time I said the show was had a very good start, a very good first episode, but if they didn't keep the seriousness of the first episode, then I might stop watching, but I have not stopped watching. I have kept up with it, and honestly, it's kind of enjoyable. The only problem is I've started to think that the main character is or that the writer of this story simply wrote himself into the story as the main character who's aware that he's the writer. So, let's just say the show would be much better if they stopped doing the whole joke of the main character has no idea what's really going on. But yeah, I would say this show is just kind of fun. It's kind of fun, It's kind of fun. I wouldn't say it's funny, as in the comedy is funny. No. This thing here? Nope. Hell no. But it is what it is. Now, moving on to My Hero Academia 6th season. Again, I have not been following the My Hero Academia stuff. I said this last time, but I dropped the show at around the time when the infinite 100% thing happened, right? After that fight, after the Sir Night-Eye guy died, I was like, nah, I don't care. So, we must move on. Nothing much to say about My Academia, honestly. It is what it is. One Piece, again, I have not caught up with it. I probably never will, but it is what it is. It's One Piece. It's always there, let's be honest. It's always there. Now this, honestly, actually took me by surprise. I saw the first episode of this season, and I was like, wait, this show gets a second season? What? Now this is obviously the Isekai, Demon Lord, overpowered main character show. This is the show, right? When someone says overpowered Demon Lord as the main character going to school, this is that show. This is what they're talking about. The show is just fun. The show is fun in the sense that the main character is just so hilariously overpowered, and it's just fun to see. It's like imagining you have the power of God. You can do literally anything you want, and so you just kind of cruise through your life, doing whatever the fuck you want at any given moment. That's what this show is. That's what this show is. Moving on, we have Blue Lock. Last season when I talked about this, because this is also a this is the second core of the show, the second half. When I saw this last time, it just made me think that it was just another football anime, right? And I have not watched it since then. I have not watched a single episode of this, but I have heard that it's not like your typical sports anime. I have heard of things. So maybe it is not as bad as or generic as I thought it would be. I have thought about starting the show, but I just have not really gotten around to it. It could be more interesting than this makes it out to be. From what I've heard, and I haven't heard a lot, but I've heard very small tidbits of this isn't your generic sports anime, right? Like there's a lot more like thriller stuff going on. So I'm surprised they don't have like a thriller tag or action or something else, psychological or something. I'm surprised they don't have that. But, there's not much I can say about Blue Lock because I haven't seen it. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So this, again, is a second season. We're having a lot of sequels here. We haven't had a single first season of a show yet. We have like 4 more. So this is like, I think this is the show where the girl who, played an RPG for the first time and then put stats into something weird, like a defensive skill or something, and then became overpowered because of a bug or something. I'm pretty sure I didn't finish that show, the first season, so it's pretty boring. I'm pretty sure it was enjoyable. I think I seem to remember enjoying myself when I watched it, but I think at some point I just kind of, the next episode came out and I was maybe busy at the time and I didn't watch it, and then 2 more episodes came out and then I was just like, I don't really care at all. Now here we have Mairimashita again. Iruma-kun. Again, I have not seen this show. I will probably never watch it. It just gives me a weird vibe. I don't know what it is about this show that I cannot, for the life of me, ever get into a mood to watch this. I don't know why. Something about this show, just reeks of, cringe. I don't know what it is. It's just one of those things. Why I don't want to watch it. I don't know. It's weird. Then we have How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, or whatever the fuck the English title was. And this is I don't know. I don't even know what this is anymore. 4th season maybe? Some other arc or something? Yakuza-hen? I'm pretty sure I watched the first season maybe of this show, and it was pretty much garbage, so I don't actually remember what happened. Maybe I didn't even finish the season. I wouldn't be surprised if I just dropped it because I didn't like it, or maybe I just didn't finish it or didn't continue for some reason. I don't know. But point is, I don't understand how this series is so popular. I don't know. Another sequel, obviously. We're not gonna click on that, the spoilers thing here. But yeah, Vinland Saga Season 2. Okay, first off, I have not watched the Vinland Saga. I watched the 3 episodes that pre-aired, or aired 3 weeks before the show started airing, or something. I watched those 3 episodes and it was good, don't get me wrong. I wasn't a fan of the children, but it was like a prologue to the actual story, right? I've heard of a lot of good things about Vinland Saga, and it's been on my to-watch list for a very long time now, ever since it came out. But again, I don't know. Something about it just makes it sit there in my list, never to be watched. There's a couple of shows like Vinland Saga that sit there. I've heard of so many good things about the show. Another one of those shows is Beastars. I've heard of so many good things about the show. I've never gotten around to it. And the more I wait, the less likely I'm going to watch it. Apparently. I guess it's just one of those things where it's I have to be in the correct mood. And, whenever I have free time, I just don't go and watch something new or play something new. I play games like Rocket League because I'm used to it. I enjoy it. I should probably make time for myself to watch shows that are on the list that that I'm interested in. I say list, but I don't actually have a list. I actually probably should make one, considering there are shows that I've wanted to watch, but I haven't, and then I kind of forget about them. Like there was that one show a couple of seasons back, and it was like some sort of like very emotional show. There was like a main character with white hair and like a wolf or something, and if you know, you know, you know? I wanted to watch that show as well, but now I don't even remember what the name of the show was. So maybe I should make a list, who knows. Regardless, moving on. Here we have our first new show. I watched the first episode. As I said, I've watched the first episode of a lot of these. The first episode was kinda... I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was pretty good. Like, it was decent. It was like... I mean, it's an action-adventure fantasy. The synopsis is way too long. And, basically, I'll just give you a short version. There's a guy... who was in a party or some sort of like guild or something, and yeah, kicked out of the martial arts adventuring party, right? And he basically, his lover was like a total bitch who just wanted him for his money, and then he dumped him, and then thrown out of the party, I guess. And then he goes to a bar and then drinks. 3 other characters also sit down at the same table because the bar's full, and then they all have their own problems why they fucking hate other people. And then eventually they form a group with each other. That's basically the first episode. And the show seemed pretty decent for like, you know, like a fantasy adventure thing. But the problem I immediately had with the show was, or from the first episode, was it didn't seem to be any like goal. What's the actual point of the show? That they're going to form a party and then do what exactly? Usually shows have, or stories have, some sort of goal, some sort of end goal, some sort of thing that they want to accomplish. I don't know. Next up we have Tomo-chan wa Onnanoko. This, I guess, I have not watched this one. It's comedy romance school. I don't mind romance, don't get me wrong. Romance can be done well. But comedy in school, as the other two, I don't think so. But yeah, from what I've seen, it's like some sort of boyish girl. She's like a tomboy and is in love with childhood friend or something, and something. Some bullshit, basically. I'm not going to be watching this. This seems like such a, I don't know, mediocre show. It has this mediocre aura. Besides, it's comedy, right? The thing is, you look at these 2 tags, right? Romance is school. School is the location. It has nothing to do with the story. And I would be really, really surprised if school actually came into play in the story. In any way at all, right? You might think, oh, school tag, which means they're in school, which means, you know, like their school life will come into play, maybe like tests and exams and, you know, studying and like stuff like that. Maybe that will like, I don't know, give the character stress or, you know, like will be like a actual factor in the story. But no, usually, literally 99% of the time, school tag is simply the location and the place for these characters to do the next thing, which is romance. So romance usually just indicates that there's one character that likes another character. That's it. Doesn't mean that there's going to be characters getting together. It just means that one character romantically likes another character. That's it. So what's left? Comedy. This is basically what the show is going to be about. What the show has a lot of. What the show is, essentially. It's going to be a comedy. And you all know my thoughts on anime comedy. There is none. It is what it is, you know, anime comedy just 9 times out of 10 is not fun. It's not funny at all. So here we have Fumetsu no Anata Season 2. I didn't watch the first season, last season. Oh wait, no, is this? This is the second core. I remember talking about this last season. I talked about how this is the second season of a show that I've never seen before. And it kind of looks interesting on the picture, but like, again, second season, so I'm not going to be watching it, you know? Next up, we have fucking Hyoken no Machuchuchi. Basically, I've seen now 2 episodes of this show since it started airing. And what I can say about this show, and we're not going to read the synopsis of this, I can tell you a shorter version, a more realistic version, this main character is secretly a war hero known as one of the super mega sorcerers, master sorcerers in the world, but no one really knows what he looks like, and he just happens to be really young, and he goes to a high school to have a normal life. And then he starts slowly showing his overpowered abilities and skills to people in the school. That's basically it. This is like the most generic show. And the reason, this is so fresh in my mind is because literally before I started recording this, like 10 minutes before I started this, I finished the second episode of the show. So yeah, like this show is just, it's the most generic fantasy school action show. It's so generic. So if you're thinking of like, ooh, overpowered high schooler who hides his powers, hides his true identity, then this is for you. I'm going to be continuing with the show because I like stuff like that. I like when the main character is competent. They don't have to be overpowered as long as they're competent. They have some sort of skill or they're smart, something that makes them interesting and competent. The reason I like competent main characters is because main characters, the hero in a story, is the person you want to inspire to be like. You want to be inspired by the character that you're looking up to, that you're watching on screen, right? So if they're completely like a complete dumbass, Chainsaw Man, if they're a complete dumbass, you don't want to be like them at all. Like you just don't like watching them. So having a competent or very overpowered main character or a smart main character that makes you feel like, oh, I want to be like them. How many kids, how many young adults, how many young teenagers grew up watching Death Note or Code Geass, and they were like, ooh, I want to be just like Lelouch v. Britannia. It's fun and much more entertaining, much more enjoyable to have a main character that you actually care about, to have a main character that is actually competent and smart and knows what they're doing and confident and just capable than having some sort of bumbling buffoon for your main character. I'm sorry, but like, it is what it is. I gotta stop saying that, honestly. Next up, we have Otonari no Tenshi-sama. I'm already seeing comedy and romance, which means this is probably a pass for me. But we can read it, I guess, real quick. Mahiru is a beautiful girl whose classmates all call her an angel. Fucking cringe. Not only is she a star athlete with perfect grades, cause of course, she's also drop-dead gorgeous, cause of course. Amane, an average guy, cause of course. I'm surprised you didn't say an average high school guy, or something. A self-admitted slob has never thought much of the divine beauty. Despite attending the same school, everything changes, however, when the Fire Nation attacks. Water. When he happens to see Mahiru sitting alone in a park during a rainstorm, thus begins the strange relationship between this incredibly unlikely pair. It's such a generic premise. Every time I see some sort of romance attempt, it's always the same thing. It's either a very, as they say here, star athlete with perfect grades and drop-dead gorgeous with some sort of completely like loner, looked down upon guy. Or it's the other way around where the guy is like a super hot, like the star athlete and like super smart and then the girl is like totally average, and it's like the self-insert thing, right? But why can't you have two characters that are both hot and then they have a good relationship? There's an anime called, what was it called? Kaicho wo Maid-sama or something. The two main characters, and there's a reason why that show is really good and really popular, and even I consider that to be a good like romance story. It's because both of the characters are fun and cool and competent. They're in that show, both characters are good looking, really good looking. Both characters are competent, like really, really good at what they do, right? And then their dynamic just works together. But every generic romance show is exactly this. It's like one character has to be the confident one who's really good at everything, and then the other character has to be the completely average, whatever the fuck else character, right? And then they have to have this like weird dynamic where one person is just much better than the other, and then one is just the best of the best, and then the other person is a completely average, dull, normal person, and then they get some romance going there somehow. It's just boring. I was also thinking of how I really dislike the whole stupid-ass, generic-ass bullshit where the main character in any show always ends up going and settling down with the goddamn shy girl. The shy stereotypes are so fucking boring that every single time I see that, where the main character of any show, really, it doesn't even have to be a romance show, but any show, the main character ends up with the shy fucking girl. I'm sorry, but the shy stereotype is so fucking boring. It's the most boring stereotype. I'd rather have a fucking tsundere, but even that one is really annoying. The point is that I just don't understand why we can't have the main character to be fun and the romance interest also to be fun. Just confident and fun-loving and like just interesting, complicated characters. We have to have stupid stereotypes. Such a bad pattern. Moving on, we have Kamitachi no Hirowareta Otoko. So this is the slime boy. The boy with the slime. The one who like runs a laundry service with his slimes. And honestly, I want to say slice of life-ish. I mean, I guess, yeah, slice of life here. It's pretty good, like a slow isekai. But I will say that the second season so far, what I've seen, they have some really bad story problems. Slice of life, slow isekai story, I guess. It's not bad, but it's nothing special. Now this is something special. We have Nier Automata. Version 1.1a. I don't really know what they're gonna do with Nier Automata here. All I know, and bear in mind I haven't played the game fully yet. I haven't really gotten anywhere with the game. I had some problems recording the game, and I couldn't really figure out how to fix it. So it's kind of on hiatus right now, my playthrough of Nier Automata. But it's very interesting that they're making an anime now, and I wonder if, because I've heard of very good things about the Nier Automata storyline, so I wonder if they're going to do like the entire storyline, because I doubt they can do like, even with like 20 episodes, I doubt they can do the entire storyline. Maybe, I don't know. As I said, I haven't played the game yet. I mean, I have played the game, I just haven't completed the game. I didn't really get too far. All I know is that I'm definitely not gonna watch the anime here, and the reason for this is because I am intending to play the game, so I would rather play the game first and finish it, and then maybe I'll watch the anime. Moving on, we have Tokyo Revengers. I have not seen the first season, and this is like some sort of different arc or something. The only thing I've heard of Tokyo Revengers is that while it's pretty good, apparently these characters are like middle schoolers. Because I've heard of people talking about how it's so stupid that the main characters are all like middle schoolers, even though they're like riding motorcycles and like doing gang wars and stuff. And I'm like, yep, that sounds kind of weird. So obviously I'm not going to watch this because this is, I would imagine, a sequel or something. Here we actually have a show that I am very interested in. I've seen now 2 episodes of this, and surprisingly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the comedy is actually slightly funny. Surprise, surprise! It is doable. We have Tensei Ojo to Tensei Reijo no Maho Kakume. Probably butchered that one, but so this is comedy fantasy shoujo ai. So I've read that this actually is like a girl's love. Like there's straight up gonna be like Yuri in it, which I'm glad to see. And I'm kind of hoping that they were serious, that they actually get into a relationship kind of thing. We will read the synopsis here. When noblewoman Euphyllia, is unjustly stripped of her title as the kingdom's next monarch, basically, to give some context here, Euphyllia is engaged to the crown prince, and then crown prince likes someone else and then calls off the engagement, right? So it's not like she had the title of the kingdom's next monarch immediately, right? So it's like, I feel like this is just kind of wrong, but whatever. The buffoonish princess Anisphia, or just Anis, takes it upon herself to right this wrong. Despite being taken for a fool because of her silly antics, Anis is a magic genius, and she has a plan to help Ophelia regain her good name. But little do they know, their encounter will alter the kingdom and the entire world. Oh my god. And also, you should add, there will be some yuri in it. Yay, lesbians. We love lesbians around here, yes. This show actually has some decently funny, not like laugh out loud funny, but like still some pretty like chuckle-worthy comedy. It's a good show. It's a pretty good show, honestly, from what I've seen. As I said, 2 episodes. The episodes go by very fast. It's definitely very, very fun. But moving on from that, to something completely stupid, and I'm sure everyone is fucking surprised that this show got a 2nd season. Nagatoro. Yeah. No. Moving on, we have Saikyo Omnyoji no Isekai Tenseki. Right, I've seen the first episode, I think. So this is another isekai, but in the sense that a character reincarnated from one fantasy world into another one. I'm not going to read this because, again, this is basically the exact same show as one of the other ones that I mentioned. Just an isekai where the main character is powerful, but no one knows, and then we see him grow up, and everyone kind of looks down upon him because he doesn't have the generic powers, but in reality he has like much stronger powers and stuff like that. It's very, very generic stuff. Action, adventure, fantasy, isekai, supernatural. I mean, it's very basic stuff. It's obviously gonna be a harem as well, as you can see. So yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it until maybe I get bored of it. I don't know. Now, moving on, we have another isekai. Holy shit, there's a lot of isekais. Look, I actually like isekais. I think the idea of an isekai is very interesting and could be done really well, but most of the time it's done really badly. But yeah, this is fantasy isekai slice of life. Isekai nonbiri no ka. Let's see here. Life cut short by illness at just 39 years old. Just. That's basically your entire life, let's be honest. Machio Hiraku, yes. Makio Hiraku knows not to take simple blessings for granted. When a godlike figure gives him a chance to live again, yeah, blah, 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 to be healthy, live peacefully, and speak the local language, and spend his days on an idyllic farm. Oh, yes. This is a show that I have not watched. I saw the first episode come out, but I was like, nope. So this is, as you can see, immediately, one guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 girls, yes, harem. Let's be honest here. The reason I didn't watch the first episode was because where the guy just wanted to live peacefully and spend his days being a farmer. And I was like, that sounds like another show that we literally just got last season, where we had a farmer who was like super strong. There was definitely that show. And now we have basically another farmer. I don't understand why this farming bullshit is so popular now. One show does some sort of stupid gimmick. Oh, I'm a farmer, but I'm stronger than the hero in my world, and I'm going to destroy the Demon King, the Demon Lord, with my farming skills. It's like, it's so stupid, and now we have another one. So yeah, I'm not going to be watching that. Next up, we have adventure fantasy harem isekai romance. Yeah, I don't know about this. I might check the first episode just to see whether or not it's funny, or maybe the main character is like overpowered or something. Maybe it's just a good power fantasy. I don't know. Point is, it doesn't really give me a good vibe. I mean, the second I see this, I'm like, why? Just why? And let's be honest, if you see harem, and then you see romance, I call bull. I call complete bullshit. Debatable. There is no romance in a harem. Why? Because in harem anime, the romance is completely one-sided, which means there is no romance. There is just romantic interest. Romance, as far as I'm concerned, is romantic attraction and interest of 2 people toward each other. It's like a 2-person thing. Romance is between 2 people toward each other, not one-sided bullshit. You don't call it like a one-sided romance. That's just fucking weird. Moving on, we have Spy Kyoshitsu. I haven't seen this yet. Action, comedy, mystery, romance. Romance and comedy. I do like mystery. I suppose we can read this synopsis. I do like the picture is like slightly darker. You know, it's not like, oh, bright colors, like, oh, everyone's happy, yay, everyone's smiling, woo, happiness, yay, woo. No. Now, granted, they're still smiling here, but, like, at least there's some darker colors, and, like, just in general, like, the second I see darker colors, I'm like, ooh, maybe it's interesting. But let's read this. Conflict-ravaged nations now deploy covert operatives instead of missiles. Lily is recruited into spy training, but her practical skills are absolutely abysmal. Desperate to pass, she leaps at the chance to join the mysterious Bomoshibi team. Too bad the team is filled with even more hopeless spies. Together, they must conquer the impassable mission and best their genius instructor. But the true purpose behind their classroom is more harrowing than they can imagine. What is this? Classroom? But I don't see school in these tags. Where's school? What do you mean classroom? What classroom? I thought you were training to be spies. Not sitting in a goddamn classroom learning about, I don't know, maths. This reeks of mediocrity, I have to say. The second I see comedy, I'm already like, any show that has a comedy tag means that the entire show is filled with bullshit, like shit comedy. Like shit anime comedy. Like, if a show has, like, action, mystery, romance, it might have occasional funny moments or occasional comedic moments. But they're never going to put the comedy tag in the show. Moving on, we have... Oh, yeah, this was the... I also watched the first episode of this. This is basically another isekai, obviously. But again, this is like this show up here. Basically, a very strong individual from another world reincarnates into a new world, but this time in this one, an old man ends up reincarnating as a female now. He like wakes up as a baby and is like, oh, I got reincarnated, but I'm a woman. Oh shit. Even though that's the kind of the idea where this old man reincarnated to be a female, I don't really understand why they couldn't just have the character be female in her previous life as well. Why does it have to be an old man turning into a young female teenager, you know? It's like, you could have literally just had the character be a female anyway. They kind of like make a big deal and joke about him being an old man at first, and then now being a female, and she, I guess, or he, I don't know. They're like surprised and they're like, oh my god, I'm a female now. But then they kind of just move on. You know, it's never brought up again. I mean, granted, I've only watched one episode, but like, it feels like they've kind of moved on from it already. So I don't see why you couldn't have her just be female from the beginning. Anyway, I don't know. I will say that so far this show, it's not bad. At least the first episode. Again, it's one of those where, you know, as I said, he, she, whatever, is very strong, even as a very young person, because they reincarnated to have all their memories and their abilities and stuff like that, and skills. They kick people's asses, you know? It's cool to see a competent main character, I guess. Moving on. Boruto. Anyway, moving on. As I said, Tondemo skilled isekai horo meshi. And this is basically an isekai, obviously. And we gotta go a little faster as well. Basically, this is about modern guy gets isekai'd, summoned to another world, but they find out that he has a very weird and quote-unquote shit ability, and they kind of throw him out, and so from the kingdom, and then he kind of like just goes on a journey, realizes that he can... His ability is to essentially open an online supermarket, you know, and he can just kind of buy things from like a modern supermarket in a fantasy world, basically. And then he can just buy all these ingredients and then just cook insanely good foods. And that's kind of it. It's pretty funny, I would say, considering there's no comedy tag, surprisingly, but the show is actually somewhat funny. More funny than most comedy shows. We haven't really seen much of it yet. One episode wasn't really enough to really give you a good idea of how the show is gonna go, but I will be continuing the show. Moving on, we have Kyoko Suiri's Season 2. I don't know what this is. It's Season 2, so we're just gonna pass it. Next thing we have... this is basically... I saw the first episode of this. This is basically a human that was raised by the Demon Lord or something, and then Demon Lord passed away or something, or retired, and then the son of the Demon Lord kicked him out, and then he finds out, ooh, he's actually very strong as a human, and whatever the fuck else. It's really generic, and I'm probably not likely going to continue this show. So fucking generic and just stupid that it's skippable. It's so skippable. Bungo Stray Dogs, have not seen it, don't know. Benria Saito-san, Isekai ni another fucking isekai, obviously comedy, fantasy. This reeks of Konosuba, and I have this kind of mentality of like, I am not going to watch a show anymore. I'm not going to watch an isekai fantasy show if the main character does not change clothes. Okay? You can already see everyone is in their fantasy clothing, right? And then there's this guy who's like in his work outfit, like modern day work outfit. That's not realistic. If you got isekai'd, you would be literally probably fucking hanged or burned at the stake for wearing these clothes. Realistically, if this show has the main character wear their fucking overalls or their fucking sweatpants or jerseys or whatnot, what the fuck, you know, fucking ReZero style, then I'm just not gonna watch the show. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I can't get over it. It's annoying to me. Here we have comedy, romance, school, seinen. I mean, seinen, everything changes when Yunta meets Nagisa. Everything changes when the Fire Nation attacks. This is literally the exact same thing we read, pretty much, as the other show. Up here somewhere. This show. This show, right here. Basically the exact same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this. Comedy, romance, schools. I don't put much faith in the seinen tag anymore. So comedy, romance, school, no thanks. Then we have here some more comedy, romance, slice of life. Like, Jesus Christ, stop. Just stop. I have not watched this, and I'm not really interested in this either, because I just don't care. It just seems such a basic, generic, wannabe romance anime. It's just, Tsundere, for your first word, probably a hard skip. Comedy, fantasy, romance. Dude, you know what? From now on, if there's comedy and romance, I'm skipping. Comedy, ecchi, hell no. Moving on, we have Urusei Yatsura. I have not watched this. And obviously comedy romance, so fuck off. Comedy, ecchi romance. We have fantasy isekai, obviously. I actually watched the first episode of this, and this is actually kind of fun. I think this show could be pretty good. At least I watched as I said, the first episode was pretty decent, at least. Essentially, this girl basically almost dies, falls off a cliff, and then wakes up in an isekai. You know, another world. And throughout the first episode, she realizes that she has the power to jump between the worlds. Immediately, I'm like, ooh, there's so many things you could do with this. So I'm really interested to see where this goes and how they're gonna, what they're gonna do with this. And again, notice how there's no comedy tag. And yet, the comedy in this show, in the first episode, is much better than most of these other comedy shows. I guess, I'm starting to think that whenever an anime has the comedy tag, that means that not that they're trying to be funny or that they are funny. It's more that the show doesn't take itself seriously at all. If you see a comedy tag on an anime, it means that the show does not take itself seriously at all. And they're just fucking around. Moving on, we have Buddy Daddies. Yeah, no. No. Oh, no. Trigun Stampede. I'm guessing a remake? I don't know. I never watched the first Trigun, and maybe I'll watch this. I don't know. Revenger. I haven't seen the first episode of this yet, but this looks pretty decent. As I said, I can't really say. It's about like assassins and samurais and stuff like that. Could be good. I am a fan of Samurai Champloo, for instance. Maybe it's something like that. Who knows? Maybe. Unlikely, but hopefully, maybe. Moving on. We have Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. Ooh. She reluctantly buys Chalet, a fairy forced into a life of servitude, but she seeks friendship more than a lackey. But apparently the fairy is like some hot guy, so it's like, no thanks. I'm not really sure what this is. This is really weird. The great beasts created the land, humans stole it, angered, beasts began eating humans, who in turn called upon the gods to fight the beasts, blah blah blah. Age of Swords, Heroes, and Mythology. I mean, maybe. I haven't really watched the first episode of this, so I don't really know. Maybe I might check the first episode out, who knows? Now moving on, we have The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, The Northern War. So, I knew about this, and I am excited to watch it. Now, if you don't know, I've been playing The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, the series, the game series, for the better part of almost like a year and a half now, maybe-ish. Yeah, year and a half. Actually, maybe even more than that. Holy shit. I don't remember exactly when I started, but I've been, I have my playthrough, and I'm currently going through the third game in the series, which takes place after this. So I'm very interested to see what happens in this show, but, and this is a big but, I am not going to be watching this as it airs, most likely, because I'm going to wait to see whether or not there's going to be an English dub. Because I play these games with the English voices, and I would rather have the dub, honestly, because I'm used to the voices. And if they are going to do a dub, they better have, what was her name? Carrie Keranen, the voice of Sarah Valentine? God. Because I'm pretty sure Sarah is supposed to be in the Northern War. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this, and I'm just hoping that the English dub is going to have, if they're going to have an English dub, that they're going to have the same voice actors from the games. Okay, moving on. We have this. I don't really know. This seems decent, but like, A chance meeting between Kaina, a youth from the Canopy, Liliha, a young woman from the service, sets off a chain of events, blah 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 blah. We've heard it all before. But it is adventure, fantasy, sci-fi. This might be something that I'm gonna check out, at least the first episode of. I haven't checked it out yet, but it definitely seems more of a serious story, from what I can tell from the picture here. Characters are not going like, The next show here is old, very powerful demon takes this little girl on a journey because they make a contract and blah, 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 blah. It's decent. I watched the first episode. It's like kind of like turn your brain off, enjoy. We have Monogatari, action, sane, and supernatural. Robbed of a loved one, and Nagatsuki saved by them. Can she get through to him? Maybe. It definitely looks a little cleaner than most of these other bullshits. So maybe, definitely seems more serious than, I don't know, something like this. Oh wait. We're talking about this show here. Monogatari. Definitely seems something much better than something like this, right? So, yeah, maybe. Hard to say, honestly. A lot of these synopsi don't really give a good, accurate description of what the show is like, but we'll see. High card, again, this just reeks of mediocrity again. And there's a lot to read in the synopsis. It's just too much for me. I don't have time. Detective Conan, let's go quick here. Gotta go quick. I'm already wasting too much time. I don't want this video to be over an hour. I've already been recording for an hour and 17 minutes, so, ooh, yeah. Okay, Detective Conan, still great. Watch the important episodes. It's really good. Whatever this is, second season of some comedy show, comedy/live, nope. Drama School Sports, nope. Orphan something season 3, literally never even heard of this. How is there 3 seasons of this? Okay. No. Hikari no O, I don't know what this is. Fantasy historical, maybe. Might check out the first episode. Yomushi Pedal Limit Break. Obviously no. Yowamushi Pito, you know, back in the day when the first season came out, I watched like a couple of episodes and it was fucking boring. Mo Ippon, I have not watched the first episode of this yet, but I might. Who knows? I don't really know. It's martial arts, shonen, slice of life sports, maybe, who knows? Maybe? If I find time for it and I'm in the mood, I don't know. Digimon? Hell no. Here, I think we've gotten to the point where we can just kind of go faster here. We have Pokemon, or rather Pocket Monsters, as their actual name is. Whatever the fuck this is. No. More Pokemon. Whatever the fuck that is. Nope. 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 Shadowverse Flamer. Unite Up. Nope. 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 A lot of nopes. Okay. And just like that, we've gotten to the end of the Winter 2023 anime list. Now, there are quite a few, and when I say quite a few, I mean a lot. And I mean a lot, a big a lot, very many, very a lot of isekai shows. There are quite a few pretty decent shows. I will say that this season doesn't seem to really have any like standout bangers. There are a couple of potential wildcards like this show, and maybe this Monogatari, and obviously The Legend of Heroes, Northern War, maybe even like Revenger here. There are just some wildcards that, you know, I would have to check out to really be able to tell whether or not they're decent. Other than those, the season seems to be full of just kind of like popcorn isekai fun. The one new show that I'm definitely the most excited to see is this show here. This is the Yuri, you know, magic comedy shoujo show. I think the reason why I'm excited to see this show the most is because the main character is kind of fun. You know, they're kind of actually implying that there's gonna be actual romance between these two characters. Because I'm so sick and tired of the only romance we ever get is in actual, like, specifically romance anime. The only romance that we ever get in anime is when the anime itself is about the romance. Even though most good stories have romance in them, it's not the main thing that the story is about. The romance is usually like a secondary storyline. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely a show that I'm definitely enjoying watching currently. And the season is just very filled with all kinds of isekai and magic stuff. Obviously Vinland Saga Season 2 as well. I mean, I haven't seen the first season, so can't really say. That's basically it. There's definitely quite a few of it, like isekai power fantasies that I'm most likely gonna keep up with until they get super, super boring, and I'm gonna drop them. Drop them like I dropped my ex-wife. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed going through this season, the Winter 2023 season of anime, with me. All I can say is that if you're an isekai fan, you're gonna eat very well this season.